Hello everyone. I've got a very special video for you today. Many of you have probably heard of Sikky, the Twitch streamer and YouTube content creator, who is known for, among other things, creating tier lists of various categories for the Pointer Crate Demons list. And I thought I'd make a video that's more or less inspired by that. I'm taking it a step further though. I'm actually going to be making a tier list of all of his tier list videos, based on the opinions that he gives in those videos and how much I agree or disagree with them. So the first video that he has uploaded is the top 75 demons, the main list demons, his opinion on their songs. So this video was average. I liked most of the opinions, but there were some that I didn't really like. Most of the songs you'd expect to be in S were there. So those weren't super surprising. I do like that Spatial Rend was placed in S because, you know, the Electrodynamics song, everyone listens to the first half, you know, from the Rob Top level, but the second half I feel like doesn't really get enough love. I feel like it does deserve to be ranked in S as he did put it in S. There was a couple complaints I had about it though. I think that the Koareta series was too high. Koareta and Wasareta, I don't really like either of those songs, but both of them are placed in S for some reason, which I don't really understand. Also, I feel like Congregation was a little bit too low. You know, I mean, the Congregation song, it's not the best, but it's okay. It deserved to be placed higher than it actually was, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Even though it doesn't use the better part of the song for that level, I mean, it does fit that level quite well, but that part is still good, I think. It's not amazing, it doesn't belong in S tier, but it should be a lot higher. The next video that he had published is for the extended list, same thing, he's ranking the songs. This was, in my opinion, his best video by far. He had a lot of the levels that you'd expect to be in S tier. Artificial Ascent, great song, obviously. Dolos, very underrated song, I think. Definitely deserves to be in S tier. And he rightfully placed Furious Flames in the trash tier where it belongs, the F tier. I'm not a huge fan of that song, so I'm glad that he placed it in the F tier. So really good. I have no complaints about this video whatsoever. The next video that he has uploaded is the top 75 verification reaction video. This one I wasn't quite as big a fan of. There were a few things that obviously all of the reactions that you'd expect to be in the S tier were there. Dolos in particular, or not Dolos, Deimos, I'm sorry. Deimos, my personal favorite reaction of all time, Nepesta verifying that level. That was rightfully placed in S tier. I'm glad that Sikky put that there. But there were a few others like Spatial Rend, man. I know it wasn't a huge explosive reaction, but there was just something about it that I just really I just really like it for some reason. I think it was a little bit too low. It could have been a bit higher. I think at least a tier or two, you know, and I think Wasareta, on the flip side, was too high. I know everyone likes to, they like the meme reactions in the S tier or whatever, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't a fan of the Wasareta reaction, so I had a lot of disagreements with this list. Those were the two big ones, so I'm putting this tier list in the C tier. I've also got the 150 verified reactions, the extended list. This video is a lot better, I think. I think chat voted on a lot of these. I think Missing Benefits being in S tier was very well deserved. That was one of the best reactions in my opinion. 211 being verified by Senor Giaster, that was also a very good reaction as well. I'm glad that was placed in the S tier. I only had one major complaint about this level, and that's the Black Blizzard was a little bit too high. Again, it seemed like, and Sikky does mention this in the video, there was some favoritism towards Karma L, the fact that he had verified that, so a bit of a disagreement there, but still a very solid list. I put that tier list in the A tier. He also ranked the top 75 demons end screens, so all the main list end screens. This is the one that I had the most disagreements with, so a lot of the end screens, you know, those are layups, like Cybernetic Crescent, Omega, Ouroboros. Nobody disagrees that those are S tier, right? But there were a lot that were really surprising, and just to name a few, I think that Wasareta, man, I feel like that end screen, I feel like there's just the font it just alone, like, it really carries that end screen. The background deco is pretty good, but I really like that end screen a lot. I don't like the song, as I mentioned earlier, but the end screen is really good. I think it was a bit too low, honestly. And then on the other hand, I feel like there were some meme end screens like Deimos and Seri Never Clear. I wasn't a huge fan of those. I really don't think those should have been placed as high as they were, so a lot of disagreements with this tier list. I'm putting it in the D tier. He's also got the end screens for the extended list levels, so the top 150. This was a good video, I think. I put this in the B tier. There were a lot of more or less what you'd expect. I like that Omicron was in S. That's one of my favorite end screens personally. Near unanimous vote there by the chat to put that in the S tier. Very well deserved. I feel like Shock Therapy though was a little bit too low. Like, I would have liked to see that a little bit higher up. You know, like Shock Therapy, just again really creative with the font. You know how the lightning bolts like spell out the letters. It's just there's just something about it that I really like. So I'm a bit disappointed that he put that as low as he did. And then he also has, just uploaded this week, I believe, his top 10 extremes that he had beaten. So this was after he had beaten 10 extremes, not counting Ice Carbon Diablo X, and he's ranking these extremes based on the quality of those levels. So I had put this in the C tier because there were some things I agreed with. I liked that Sakup in Hell was in the D tier. That's just not a very good level overall. It's, you know, the decoration and the gameplay are both really repetitive. I know that it's somewhat excusable, it being an old level, but it's just, they're even compared to other contemporary levels of its time, it really was not that good, and I'm glad that Sikky did put it in the bottom tier where it belongs. But man, I think there were just some levels that were a bit too high. I don't understand Aftermath being above Cataclysm. Like, Aftermath to me just seems like a worse version of Cataclysm. It's, you know, it's less balanced. It's, you know, it is just a copy of Cataclysm, so it feels like the deco should step it up a little bit, and I feel like it really doesn't, so I would have swapped those two probably. Allegiance being in the top tier, I do not understand that at all. Allegiance is one of my least favorite levels in the game. It's just, the song is really obnoxious. I just can't stand it for some reason. The gameplay, there's just something about it. Like, it's a 2.0 level, I get that. It goes a little heavy on the rainbows. Some of the gameplay at the drop is a little bit weird. I didn't really like it, but it's not terrible. This wasn't a horrible tier list, but it wasn't one of my favorites. So, anyway, this is all of Sikky's tier list videos. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know how much you liked it. Personally, I think it belongs in the S tier, but you'll let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anyway, see ya.